to fish news you can't use, but it's interesting and it's what's happening in science and the hobby. So, I hope everybody's having a grandiose day. Of course, it's all foggy and haloed. I don't know why it does this. I have to like put my thumb over it and make it refocus. Still not helping. Hold on. But how is everybody doing? I hope that everybody's doing fantabulous. There we go, getting better. I've got to admit, it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. It can't get no. It is a hot one today, man. It is 85 degrees in my house right now. The fish are cooking. They are getting poached. I've got some poached tetra today. Hopefully that's not true. How is everybody doing though? So today, of course, as we do every fish news you can't use, we're going to be looking at stuff that I think was interesting. Breakthroughs in the hobby, in the science, in the world that are vaguely or very specifically, I guess it depends on the day and the month and how I'm feeling, related to the hobby. So let's jump in after we say some hellos here, because I just, I've been so appreciative of how much you guys are going through the old videos, I've been watching my old videos, and I'll watch them sometimes, and I don't remember saying it. Like, partially it's a little bit of my memory. My memory's been kind of odd since I had the head injury during the lightning incident. So it kind of screws with things in a little bit that way. So it's kind of like watching someone else's video, and it looks like a different person, like physically too. Like, since I had to get on all the hormones because I stopped producing any of them when my pituitary gland got hit during the lightning strike from the head injury. So now I got to do those every day. I think I've mentioned that to you guys, but it's definitely just swelled my face, made me gain some weight and stuff. No fun. I'm sure this doesn't help, but this is like my vice. So, gotta have something, I guess. Or you don't, but I mean, most people have something. So, Dr. Pepper it is. But, yeah, looking back, it's like, it feels like another lifetime. And looking at those old videos, I really, I really like looking at them and then kind of thinking, maybe I should redo them. But it seems like people are actually finding them. And a lot of them have content that I forgot I even looked at. And I spent a week looking into it or whatever at the time. So I definitely do recommend folks going back and look at it if there's something specific that interests you. I mean, there's 700 videos, and I just have to say, like, what a big difference it's made in the algorithm too. Although I did notice that I put ads on, which I didn't. So it auto, like, that was the preset setting from anything before I was monetized. It automatically, on my live streams and stuff, I've noticed, it's placed ads in there. So on some of them, I've gone back and turned off the mid-roll ads. Try to just do ads in between whole videos. But whatever. So you might, I guess I just realized this now, but on the really old videos or on some of the live streams, if it's done on someone else's phone, for instance, where I'm logged in, then I'm noticing that the default setting is, of course, for YouTube to get all the monies they can. All right, let's see here. So we got 503 Aquatics. How are you doing, my dear? Mary, hello. Good to see you. Patty, hello. Mr. Manifesto, all things fish. Geek Boy. Let's see here. Chevy Fish, hello. Muppet. Fish Tropic, what's going on? And Laura, what's going on? Or Laura, if as it were for most people. Jennifer, hey, how are you doing? Dev, what's up? Another Laura, what's always good name. My wife's name, I approve. Good work. Steven, 2003, what's up? Roger Salmon, welcome. First time, huh? Well, we better, I mean, I wish I had some air horns. It could be like a Jamaican, like, music video, like a reggaeton. Donnie, what's going on? Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics, always good to see you. 503. Oh, a super chat. A little pair jogging with the jazzercise headband, I guess, and a thumbs up. I like it. I love it. I need some more of it. PMC, hello. Yeah, I tried out a new time today. James Black, it's 28 Celsius here. So warm. Yeah. Nigel, what's up? The Beatles are bigger than Jesus. All right, I'm catching up with chat. I'm getting there. Sorry, guys. We will get to the fish news you can use. I mean, people are filtering in. I mean, come on. You got to get through the chaff until you wade through the chaff until you get to the wheat. Late night air. Roger, where are you at? You in Australia or the UK or something? India? I don't know. Where are you at? Daniel keeping fish. Hello. Monicog. Interesting. I like the name. Let's see here. Finniper. Hello. Aim Spiritfish. Hello. What's up? Let's see here. All right, James Holbrook, $4.99. Dude, I feel ya. I boxed and played linebacker. My memory comes and goes. Ooh, yeah. Take care of that brain, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. But oh man, I've had a lot of concussions in my life, and it really does add up. Protect your noggin, folks. Too coolie for schoolie. What's up? You are not late at all this time. You are right on time. Oh, Steven, thank you so much. $6 super chat, $1 for every vice you have. Wow, I mean, you're either underestimating or you are a virtuous person. If you only have 6, that is excellent. But thank you so much. Peeps Lost Sheeps, how's it going? Always good to see you. Yeah, you know, my tag team partner in the ring when we need to deal with comments. Thank you so much for that. One for the algorithm, one for good measure, I suppose. John Doonan, you're in Ireland. Hello. Welcome. I'm so glad you have joined us. Vinoski's Tanks, right on. Biscotti, things are going well. Okay, you're at work. Lots of people are at work. Yeah, I know. Everybody's getting back to work and normal since the world went funky. Let's see here. Yeah, this should be a good stream for those of you who are listening more than watching. I mean, we can go look at things in the fish room or whatever if anybody's curious. Members know that I have a little bit of news that I kind of broke to them, and I showed them some pictures. I'm kind of waiting to break the news to everybody in the wider public, but I've successfully got a few generations deep into crossing the scarlet Badis with the Malaysian red and black tiger Badis, and it's pretty cool. It looks like a little scarlet Badis, but it has like a Zorro mask. It's a little bigger. It's got more blue on its front pectoral fins, and yeah, it's just a pretty cool little fish. Hopefully I can stabilize the line. They're very aggressive. The males are just ruthless to the females, and they're still doing the little gender flip thing that is always the problem, whether it's an actual sexual change or a change just in their appearance. That I don't know about these hybrids, but I know for a fact that the scarlet Badis can change sex and gender. You know, gender being the way they be sneaker males, sex being the actual ability to reproduce as a male or female fish. Jay Oliver, hello, welcome, good to see you. I feel like I missed something just going on, and I mean, of course I did. My brain is constantly missing things. Christine Richardson, hello, welcome. All right, let's see here. We're getting down. I'm almost caught up on chat. You guys are talkative today. Man. All right, I think I am. So, if you have a question for me, as always, it helps to do the @ and then secret history living in your aquarium. Like I said, it's hot in here today, so pardon me if I'm like, you know, doing one of these, getting the sweat off my brow. Hopefully my brow is okay. My wife says I have a caveman brow. Oh well. Can I crip dance? Yes, I actually can sea walk. Growing up on the West Coast. It was not foreign to me. It was something I shouldn't do in my neighborhood, but it was something that I would do occasionally to try to be a clown when I was in high school. But I do admire the the fancy footwork. It's almost like clog dancing or Appalachian, flatboard dancing. What do you do when your temperatures get really hot for consecutive days? That's a hard one. Honestly, around here, I usually open up the windows and keep my fingers crossed. Usually around here, at night it'll cool down a little bit. Obviously, I'll turn the lights off. I'll just say, sorry, plants, you got to deal with life on your own. I'll turn the oxygenation up, so if I've got extra air stones, I'll toss those in. I've resorted to throwing ice cubes in the water before. In theory, I guess it would be best to put dechlorinator in there or use distilled water. But to be quite frank, I've usually just thrown some ice cubes in, and I think it's been gradual enough that it didn't really cause any issues. But yeah. Oh, right. Blind fish keeper, Brandon, or I guess, well, cat's out of the bag now. Bob, Frank, Jerry, whatever your name may be. Wink, wink. But in any case, I have been speaking with the blind fish keeper, and I hope to chat more soon. But yeah, I really want to know about this whole keeping fish while blind thing. It sounds very fascinating, and so with his permission, it may be something that you guys will hear about at some point. But regardless of all that, I'd just like to hear his take on things. Fish Tropic put some ice in a Rubbermaid and put a fan over top. Yeah, just keeping air moving really helps. Morgan is asking, what temp did I breed the Badis at? They weren't in a heated tank, but it's been warm in my place. Like, it's been about 74 to 75 in there, 24/7. It's interesting in that a lot of fish kind of like a cooler night and then a warmer day to help with spawning, just like for real fidgety spawners. But they've stayed pretty consistently warm. The main thing that was odd was I walked them down, the Badis, all the way down to like 4.5 for the pH. And then what I did was I had a prepared jug. You can look at my videos on tannins or other things on tannins. And have I done a low pH video? If I haven't, I should. I'll take a look. But I make I take tannins, leaves, and wood and things, and I make a concoction, and I get a low pH water that's like 3.0. And remember, when you go down, every number, so 3.0 to 4.0, it's an entire, it's an exponential. It's 10 times. So the difference between 4 and 6 is 100-fold. And 4 and 7 is 1,000-fold. No, we don't have AC here in the Northwest. Most houses don't in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. We get a few days that are in the high 90s or low 100s, and most people just deal with it. Although it is becoming more and more common to see folks getting AC in the Northwest, definitely. But growing up, I didn't know a single person who had an air conditioner. And now, I guess a lot of people have the HVAC or split things. How do you keep plants looking so healthy? Oh boy, that's a loaded question. That's a long question. I would recommend you check out any of my aquascaping videos or just plant fertilizing videos that I've done. I may make a shorter video on that. Rachel L, hello, welcome. But yeah, so in any case, it's a long question. I mean, really, it comes down to good substrate, fertilizers, doing your water changes, and a good light. Strong light that's not on too long. Let's see here. Kara says, oh, and we got a 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much. Boop, boop. It's a poop from 3G. Thank you. Kara says, with all the species being added to threatened, endangered, extinct list, what species do you think hobbyists should focus more on? Any U.S. natives? Yes, Kara, I totally agree. That's a good question. I think that we should focus on things like rainbow shiners, like red side shiners, like red belly dace, candy darters, spotted dace. There's a whole lot of fish. I did 10 of my favorite native nano fish that are colorful video. I know that's kind of specific, but I feel like that's what people want, right? The hard part is keeping them cool. So part of it is getting lines where they're getting more tolerant of the warm weather all the time, or the warm water, I should say, all the time, and that'll help. Right now, some of them are pretty stunted if you keep them in that hot condition, like 74 degrees all year kind of thing. But it is cool to keep them. JN Burton, good to see you. Hope you're doing well also. But yeah, I would say that really being tank raised is another big thing. Like, I work with Aquatic Arts, obviously. Discount codes linked below. But they're very, very, very obsessed with making sure that they source sustainable fish. If anything is coming from an area that may be exploited, there are a lot of areas, for instance, in Thailand, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Borneo right now, and Brazil for that matter, where there is decimation occurring. We're going to talk about that in the news articles in just a moment, but going on in the environment, and they will not get wild fish from those areas unless they know for a fact somebody's there, like a scientific team, and then there happens to be a hobbyist, and they're literally collecting the last of species to get them to breeders, and they won't list them for sale to hobbyists. Aquatic Arts actually does a ton of facilitating, just being a matchmaker, setting up the rare species, getting them to breeders, people like Gary Lang if it's a rainbow fish, or Greg Sage if it's some sort of pleco or something. Those are just kind of pulling these out of thin air, but that's really what they're working on, and that's why I like working with them. The other thing, all right, we've got a lot of questions today, but I do want to get to fish news. Yes, that includes plants as well, PMC. That is why their selection of plants lately is a little odd. Normally, they would have all of the bulb plants for pond season, and they can get them, but they are not sourced responsibly. They're being done or being gathered in areas either where there's palm oil farms, and they've chopped down the rainforest, diverted the water, and they don't have their export certificates, so then they come in through another country, and suddenly you may have a variety of booths that supposedly only grows in like mountain streams in Borneo showing up in Malaysia where it's never occurred before, that kind of thing. Or you just see it without, they'll get a shipment and they'll be just the mat of the rhizomes, no leaves. I mean, that's a dead giveaway, like that it was harvested off a rock, it was old growth, and it's not sustainable. And so Aquatic Arts, they're working really hard on that, and we're actually I hope to interview the owner and as well as their main buyer, but talking about why, for instance, like CPDs right now, like I talked about this last week, but they have really, really bad breeding stock right now. At one point a year ago, Aquatic Arts, their shrimp were coming in from Taiwan, and they were very, very bad genetically. Like, they just weren't breeding true. Like, this one shipment, it just started. They went from great shrimp to not that great. They refunded a bunch of people. They stopped carrying Neocaridina for a few months until they got it sorted out. And same thing when Iliobiopsidae started, and all these farms had it. So many people just kept selling fish. in the hobby, so many retailers, and some of them, like, I understand they were hurting, and it's hard to throw away, or I mean honestly kill 5,000 shrimp because 2 are sick, but it's just kind of you can't let those diseases that can decimate a population get out, and definitely not for the sake of profit. In the long run, you won't have a hobby to profit from anyways. Do pond bog plants count for the competition? Oh yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the first news story, guys. I mean, I know it was a little delayed, but the first news story that I want to talk about, by the way, they're in the community tab, is about electrical fish. Hey, Danikin, what is going on? Kenny and or Danny. John Dune, how are you doing? Do I still keep panda loaches? I still do. I've got a dozen of them, and I love them, and they're my babies. And they're in a little pile in the fish room, and we can look at them later. Love them. But electric fish, as in mormyrids, elephant nose fish, baby whale, baby whale, baby whale, no? Or baby dolphins, sometimes they're called. They are African fish. There's probably about 30 of them, 15 in the hobby that you kind of see. And they're a real funky, weird fish, but they sense the world with electricity. Just like bats use sonar, they actually send out a pulse of electricity. What's cool is in new studies, and by the way, if you go to the community tab, you will see that I've linked these articles and or scientific journals. Now, you may say, Alex, why are all of the sources ScienceDaily.com? Well, it's because you can put a filter on their website and just look for scholarly journal articles and whatnot, and it's almost like what do they call it, RSS feed. So you can tailor it, which is really nice, to that. So if you go there, you'll see, yes, that it says Science Daily, but really that site is just a funnel to get you to who truly published the paper. So it's not like Science Daily is putting all this out and I'm just lazy and going to one website. Well, I am. I mean, I am definitely just going to one website because it's easier, but you guys get the point. Let's see here. Well, with a hybrid, Richard, they won't let me name the fish with my scarlet Badis, unfortunately. Usually, in fact, what taxonomists and high-level ichthyologists will do when you have created a hybrid, especially if it was hard to create, like the flower horn or some of the plecos, for instance, is they will yell at you. They will tell you that you've ruined the hobby / science and nature and everything in between. But they won't give it a Latin name unless it's naturally occurring hybrid. And then a lot of times they won't give it a Latin name. They'll use the letter X and they'll list both species. They do that with crayfish frequently. Psychedelic Hippocampus, great to see you. Love to have a hippo on campus, on my brain. My fish tanks aquatics, hello and welcome. Let's see here. Yeah, my theory on the hybrids is that they're no fun, the people who poo-poo hybrids, as long as, one, the fish isn't physically deformed. So I understand why some people don't like pearl scale goldfish or balloon mollies or balloon rams or whatever. If they are so ballooned to the point where their organs are being compressed, they live a shorter life, they can't navigate or move properly, then yes, I understand why you wouldn't want that. But the whole, don't do it because they'll get back into nature is really far-fetched in most cases. And if you live in an area like Brazil, maybe you shouldn't be experimenting with foreign fish and hybridizing them with local fish and then letting them go. That's my advice. Far out advice. I know you guys might not have expected that advice. But yeah, no. For the most part, though, just tell people what it is you have. I mean, tell them that it is a Synodontis mixed with, like a cuckoo catfish mixed with an Angelicus Synodontis or whatever. It's an Endler and a guppy. And also, those aren't going to be the populations that we say, okay, let's reintroduce them now. We have genetic testing that's getting so prevalent now that we can sort through that a lot easier than in the past. So hopefully that helps put some end to it. And to me, like, for instance, keeping CPDs and erythromicrons together. Yes, they can hybridize in your tank. Yes, I have now had them hybridize. But you have to let the eggs survive. They'll eat the eggs frequently. So unless you have a setup for spawning and breeding, the babies don't just magically grow up. So you can keep multiple Cory species together. It's just a matter of what you do with those offspring later. To me, that is the only important thing. And just don't be a jerk. Just label them, species X if you really don't know, or whatever. So yeah. All right, so the first story, though, was about electric fish, and it comes out of Washington University in St. Louis. Guppy Endler hybrids. Here, fishy people, those are very, very common. The Japanese blue Endler or the Japanese lyre-tailed guppy, that is a hybrid. The snakeskin pattern in general on guppies is likely a Endler gene. And some people would argue that Endlers and guppies are the same species anyways. All the live bears were the same species at some point, maybe 30 million years ago. And some are as recent as a few, 30,000 years ago, they split apart. But others have been their own species for several million years. But yeah, they tend to be really pretty. They've got really big females and little tiny males, and usually pretty bright colors when you get the hybrid Endlers. But the problem is also, I guess, too, when people try to say this is an Endler, they name it an Endler, and they know it has guppy in it, and then somebody thinks that there's this Endler line, because it's a lot harder to bring out colors in an Endler line that's true Endler, all Endler genetics. It's a lot harder than if you just cross it with a guppy that's already got all these colors and patterns that you can draw from. So it is more impressive when you know it's a true pure Endler line, I guess. That's another aspect of it. Furloughs Aquatics, hello, welcome. Not Nola Jane Fish, hey, welcome. Good to see you. Shelby Ray Lynn, welcoming everyone for me. Thanks. So back. Let's get to the first freaking news story, Alex. We're halfway through the hour and you can't even get to it. You just been talking. Okay, so electric fish, Mormorids, Africa. They pause before. Whoa! Light just came on. My tank just came on. Whenever they have something important to communicate, these fish will stop all their electrical signals. So they'll stop putting out their echolocation. We're going to call it echolocation. It's not echolocation. That's acoustic. They use electricity and geomagnetism. They can feel the magnetic slash, I guess it's all magnetic or electric, but they can feel the energy given off by different masses and surfaces versus the earth, and that helps them paint a little visual picture in their actual visual cortex. So they map in muddy waters. They must have like a little overlay because something's going on when they MRI their visual cortex, similar to a bat probably, or a dolphin or a whale, where they put out a noise. In this case, they put out electricity, and when they get a diminished return on that, they can figure out the direction and the strength, intensity, and the waveform that comes back, which requires some really specialized organs. But what's cool is, so males, they make a pattern if you were to graph it. And honestly, I don't know enough about electricity to explain why this is. I would assume it's like high frequency and then kill. High frequency and then kill. But they essentially, when you graph out a male mormarid, like you put an acoustic or an electric monitoring probe in there with a graph on a screen, it will look like kind of like an EKG or heartbeats. It's these little peaks and then a pause, peaks and a pause. And females, though, is more of a it goes up gradually and then comes down gradually. It goes up gradually and then comes down gradually. It's like a sine curve, a sine wave. And that really, it's kind of cool that you can tell the gender that way. You can't tell by looking. So they're very, I mean, their world is like electricity. So, I mean, it's also scary to think like what boat motors, hydroelectric dams, who knows, maybe even cell phones and radar, sonar. Who knows how little of energy needs to be put into those things before it disrupts these fish. But the big info on this, other than just kind of reaffirming some science we know, is that when they have something important to say, they stop. So if it's a mating advance, or if it, I think another one was if there's a fish coming that is deadly, they know that no other fish can detect the signal. You know, they know that they're stealth mode. So they will do a loud, in quotes, electrical discharge of boo, you know, or whatever. And there's different signals that mean different things. So they do have a vocabulary or a language, at least to the extent that they can tell one for feeding, one for they're just excited in general. Another one is saying who's out there, and they wait for a call and response. But just kind of interesting. But they were saying that humans and chimpanzees, all primates too, and birds, like so many different things, many different organisms, employ this same idea of pause before you say something important. If there's nothing important to say, if they're just hanging out in a group, they just keep sending out those electric signals and mapping the area around them. No big deal. It's just like background static almost. But when one has something important to say, it'll be quiet and then say it. So I saw an article that, you know, they really didn't understand what was going on, but one was that a fish, this African fish, speaks like President Obama. Tell you what I'm gonna do. It's a good idea. They kind of got it. I was thinking more William Shatner, like, oh no, we've got aliens here. Since like fish are more tweaky and paranoid anyways, so yeah, I think the William Shatner vibe is more my cut on that one. Let's see here. Electromagnetic. People are helping me when I can't come up with words for my mouth. T-Bone, what's going on? We got a $3 pair. Thumbs up. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And like I said, if you want to follow along or just read this without some big Dumbo me talking over everyone, just go to my community tab and I've got the articles there. This month we didn't have a ton of articles, and I'll probably be throwing in an extra one in June. Also, because of the Aquascape competition, I do have plans to start showing some stuff building tanks and things. Hopefully I get an order from Aquatic Arts soon. I just talked to them, just bought some stuff, or at least told them what I want to buy. And hopefully that'll be coming. I'll do an unboxing and we'll start working with that. But the deadline will be June 15th. So you still got a little bit of time. You still got 2 weeks at least if you want to participate. And the link to that is on the video. But I'm going to drop another standalone video here probably in the next few days to just remind everybody if they want to participate. Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Boom, you sunk my battleship. That is, thank you. It goes a long way, especially now that we own our house. You know, we've paid utilities, obviously. We're not children. But they are expensive. Our wastewater and clean water. They're different companies that handle each one. I don't know if that's the norm around the country. It was not the norm in any place I've lived thus far. But yeah, we've got one company for wastewater, one company for fresh water, and then we've got a recycling bill. We've got a yard waste bill that's separate from the recycling bill, and a garbage bill. And then we also have the electric, and then we have a natural gas bill for heating the house. And no cooling bill. We don't have a way to cool the house other than open the freaking doors. Well, and we've got some circular fans, I guess, which we've never actually had. So those do help a bit. I understand the ceiling fan thing now. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It will definitely go towards that, as well as alleviating my wife, the wonderful Laura, her... Do you know how much you spent on X, Y, or Z, whatever thing it was that I caused to go up? Water or electricity? And the answer is yes. I know it's bad. Let's see here. Dank Tanks, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see. Yeah. Mark Von Visco, hello. Nirvana Aquatics says, sounds like Washington. I moved away for a reason. Yeah, I feel you. Okay, on to the next news story. Bounce this thing I have. All right, we're going to get there if it kills us. It's all good, K-Day. We're only one story in because I can't shut up about things that excite me / people are asking good questions and I want to answer them. Let's see here. All right, so real sad news. I kind of organize these news stories geographically a little bit, but the story is from the Amazon, and it's a few weeks old now, and I actually mentioned it during a live stream, but then I got sidetracked and we didn't talk about it. Alan Shambrook, hello. So Alan, you I don't know what you pay in the UK, but I'm paying like $150 a month. I get billed for 2 months, but that's like our electricity. Altogether, our utilities are around $500 or $600 on top of our mortgage, I would say, if you count everything, you know. Gold miners in Brazil, gold miners shot the Yanomami, which is a Yanomamo tribe, big group of indigenous people that have survived smallpox. They've survived Spanish conquest, Portuguese conquest. In many cases, they had to deal with both. And then they survived brutal dictatorships, civil wars, and then living in slums and things like that. The ones that went to cities, and then the ones who have chosen to live in the forest in a more subsistence way, every year more and more on their reservation. I mean, it's set aside land for them in theory, but not much is done when people come in. And years ago, for instance, about 4 or 5 years ago, somebody with a bow and arrow who was a native shot at a Brazilian illegal miner and hit him with a bow and arrow, like a, made in the jungle out of sinew and wood. And the next day they came back with submachine guns and killed the entire tribe. Like 140 people, women and children, and then burned the village. So there's been a lot of incidents if you look in history, and it's sad that it's still going that way, but it's something to be aware of, that a lot of these indigenous people can learn to work and collect these fish in these fisheries with groups like Project Piaba that teach people Well, first they do a survey. They say, is this a sustainable fish? Like, should they be fishing for this? And it turns out, like with cardinal tetras, the overwhelming answer is yes. I mean, so if there's a wet season and a dry season in the Amazon, the wet season floods out, all the water rises, and these fish scatter all over land that was once, well, it was once land, now it's underwater. And, you know, up to 30 feet above the water. You'll see houses are on stilts in a lot of these delta floodplain regions and things. And I did a little post about how rivers work and how they erode and why a tight bending river will end up a big wide delta over time. There's a video under the community tab from a few days ago. It's not rocket science, that video. It's just, I don't know, it just struck a chord with me, like thinking about how did the Amazon get to be just hundreds of miles across? You can actually still drink the water 100 miles out to sea near the Amazon Delta. That's how much fresh water is coming out, and you know how much it stays at the top. Let me get adjusted. All right. But yeah, so that was it. Was that gold miners? They shot them. Let me pull up the little story. It's just a bummer. You can see what they do to the land too. That's a strip mine. I mean, essentially, they just have gouged out the earth. A lot of times they use. I mean, you can see if you look at the article, you can see these 50 gallon oil drum barrels, the plastic ones, and they just leave them everywhere. And you know, the people doing this are desperate. They're barely getting by also. So nobody's in a good position. And there's only a few people at the top making a ton of money who are very corrupt. But with 300 votes in favor and 122 against, Brazil's lower house passed the draft on a bill on May 12th that withdraws environmental impact assessments or licenses for development projects ranging from construction of roads to agriculture. The measure, which was submitted to the Senate for appraisal, is backed by President Bolsonaro and the powerful conservative agro-business lobby. So no more permits are needed. So even though this kind of bullshit, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, is going on, and they're murdering these indigenous people that happen to be living on their own reservation that they were promised to be left alone on, they're allowing no permit needed mining, and now they're getting rid of the few red tape. They call it red tape. I think it's very necessary, but they're getting rid of on copper. It says on copper, lead, mercury, and gold. And silver as well. They're getting rid of all of the, like, you have to show where it came from, so they can just smelt it down and sell it on the world market. It doesn't matter. Congressmen expect experts and activists opposed to it are convinced the new legal framework inevitably is a fast-track approval for high-risk projects, leading to total deforestation and an escalation in the violence against traditional communities of indigenous people. Lower house moved to approve it. The Yanomami people were under attack by illegal gold miners with fully automatic weapons for the third time this week in northern Roraima. The state illegal miners are not shooting to try to scare us. They want us dead. They shot a 7-year-old girl last week, one Yanomami leader said. Let's see here. They don't know for sure because they cover up these massacres. But, I mean, this is why it can be very important to support things like Project Piaba, because there are people. I have the next article down on the list, in fact, is, well, I'll just start reading it and we'll talk about this. But declining biodiversity, this is the next article, threatens the human diet all around the world. Columbia University, a new study of dozens of wild fish species commonly consumed in the Peruvian Amazon, says that that people there could suffer major nutritional shortages if ongoing losses in fish biodiversity continue. Furthermore, the increasing use of aquaculture and other substitutes may not keep up with this problem in time to compensate. Crebensis, welcome. Overall, the biomass of fish caught has remained stable in recent years. So the pounds of fish caught has remained stable. However, large migratory species that are most vulnerable to human activities, as that they move around the most and encounter the most people, comprise of a alarmingly shrinking portion of the human diet in the Amazon. They are being replaced by local, smaller species. Most fish contain about the same amount of protein, so this has not affected the protein supply in human populations. However, researchers found that many smaller fish in fact contain higher level of omega-3 fatty acids. So their takeover may actually increase the source of fatty acids in the human diet if they take over where those big fish were in the ecology. But on the other hand, those large species eat the smaller fish, which are bioaccumulators of crucial vitamins and nutrients. Supplies of iron, zinc, manganese, and salt are almost completely made up of the pescatarian diet of these Amazon fisheries. So, like any other complex system, you're going to have a trade-off. It says that, let's see here, researchers project that the overall nutritional value of the catch is taking a nosedive, where 40 of the 60 species that are used as a food source commonly in Peru, in the Peruvian Amazon, as well as the border of Peru in Brazil, in the Amazon, the deep Andean Amazon, the species are either scarce, not found in the region, or completely extinct. 40 of the 60. That's now. So I know that's not strictly a fish hobbyist issue, but it is in that the same people who fish for food, a lot of everyday people, in the same article, they say that they think that over 800,000 people in that Andean Amazon project eat fish as their primary subsistence, and either fish daily or buy fish daily. 800,000 just in that one region, that one one river basin. Altogether, I saw the figure. I'm talking off the top of my head from another article, but it was something like 40 million people in South America, which is most of the people in South America are, fish is a big part of their diet. Also, you go to Southeast Asia, you go places like Cambodia and things like that, and you find that freshwater fish are a big part of their diet. Obviously, saltwater fish are a big part of the diet, but we're not talking about tribe people either. We're talking about, fully modernized people with Apple iPhones or whatever, hanging out in big cities too. But yeah, so I mean, it's important. There's projects like Project Piaba. You can encourage good governmental policy and NGOs and things like that. But essentially what they do is they go in, the model that I think works best is you go in, you assess what it is. So like with cardinal tetras, they thought for sure that they're being over harvested. They're one of the most common tetras in the hobby, and a good amount die from the time they're collected until the time they make it to the US or Europe or Southeast Asia. And even so, with the millions collected for the hobby in specific areas, Project Piaba did a lot of research, and they thought for sure that the answer was going to be, we're going to have to teach the people of this region to grow fish in fish pens or farms, and that's how they'll make their money. And I think it's 80,000 people make a living in some way, they say, is usually the figure I see. related to the ornamental fish industry in Brazil. Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Argentina, Venezuela, if you count South America as a whole, it's like 80,000 are directly involved with the hobby trade. And it shows you too how much influence American or European, British pounds or dollars or euros, what influence they have on some nations where the standard of living is much lower. But during that study, they found quite the opposite, where they expected to see millions of fish being harvested would be bringing down the population. What they found is that the forest floods, and that it floods, and then you get these puddles everywhere, lakes, oxbow lakes, just, you know, dead-end rivers and things like that. And when you end up with those, they dry up towards the dry season ending, and then the fish spawn right before it rains again. Once the low pressure front comes in, there's a big thunderstorm. They're evaporating. The TDS is climbing. Just dropped my laptop. And that is their signal for the wet season's coming. They lay their eggs. They have their babies within the next few weeks. As water levels rise again, those babies get out of the puddles, get out of the streams, get out of the small lakes, and they spread. But what happens is inevitably every year, the majority of those fish end up somewhere where it dies. So that's why they have so many eggs. There are a lot of species in the Amazon. They don't care for their babies. You'll see with the pistos and things that they generally live in smaller creeks and things farther up, or in lakes, or in more seasonably stable water. Whereas catfish, tetras, pencilfish, things like that will have hundreds and hundreds, or thousands even, sometimes tens of thousands of eggs in a year, and then basically say, you're on your own, little babies, and they get eaten by all sorts of things. But I mean, that's how the ecosystem has evolved. And if you were to get rid of them, there's a good chance some piece of it would fall, the pillar would fall, and then things tumble. But they found that by people harvesting those things, people were far less likely, when they would harvest the ornamental fish, to go to work doing illegal gold mining, doing poaching of other animals, doing burning down forests that they don't have permits for, burning down forests that they do have permits for cattle and agriculture, or sugarcane for the ethanol industry. Now, you know, Brazil is energy independent, which is pretty cool, but at what cost? You know, there's some pretty bad corruption and stuff. I have to show you guys something really quick. Intermission time. Over here, my fish, and I bet they'll be really skittish, but these are Nanochromis splendens, and they are doing their mating dance. Hold on, I know I'm shaking. I'm all zoomed in. And they're just so beautifully colored up. We've got the male that's bigger with this little female, and they're just doing their thing. I'm surprised I got this close. The colors do not do it justice live. But they're there next to the Alternanthera renicia. You can tell it's a male because of the red on the anal fin underneath there, and the striping on the caudal peduncle. But they're doing their little thing, and they're nuzzling and rolling and doing their little courtship, which is pretty cool. It's nice that they're doing that. You know, it could just be that the warm weather in the house has encouraged them, because these are new ones that Kenny brought me. I think Kenny said he's had them for a year, maybe 6 months, and they hadn't spawned for him. So we'll see. But the male is definitely, he's ready to go. She's very small, and I don't see that she's super, I mean, she's got some eggs in her belly, but she's not fully mature, or she might be slightly stunted. But look at the red coming up in her dorsal fin too. I don't know if you guys can make that out. It's a shallow dorsal fin on the females. Let's see. But the problem is they've been fighting this heated battle for the last few days between the leopard frog plecos and my these guys, the lemon plecos, which also have babies that are now getting big enough that they need to find a. So I'm just kind of surprised. I probably need to go up to Aquarium Co-op today and go get another little cave for them. But look at them. They're all hot and bothered. They don't even know what to do. They're so excited about being with one another. That's cute. This tank, I'm debating whether to do. We'll get back to news in just a second. Today's just an all over the place show, but I'm debating what to do with this tank. There are two little huts in here for the Nanochromis transvestitis that are in here, but they don't seem to be using them. Also, my pencilfish, these females are totally ready to spawn, so I feel like I should move them. See how big she is? She's like a nice amber color, whereas the males are this sham, they're chasing each other. Everybody's feeling in the mood for love. But I'm thinking, like, do I do this tank immersed? Do I grow everything out of this tank? Do I go real big and totally redo this tank and, you know, get some big wood pieces to come out of here? Chubbs, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, buddy. Or do I just do a new tank altogether that's not any of these tanks or one of the tubs? Or multiple things. There's the, there we go. There's the leopard frog, Pleco, making his appearance. And then, of course, the Nanochromis are back trying to see if they can sneak into the cave. Actually, there's a bigger one. The big mama leopard frog Pleco, which you guys can probably not see, is at the mouth of that cave. And she's big. I mean, she's gotten really big now. Probably 3.5 or 4 inches and probably 2.5 inches wide. And then we've got this one that's half her size on the top of the cave. But she's been blocking the entrance for a few weeks. I've been really hoping they'll spawn. There's also 2 more of the leopard frogs hanging out there. The youngest ones hang out there. And then the lemon plecos, the L144As, have been doing their own thing. But the other cool thing is, so the ember tetras, in all this chaos of this whole tank, look at what I got. I got me a baby. Where is it? Just to show you the size. Right here, this little guy. So teeny. Might be even these two. But I had so much moss in here that I moved all the moss in here outside. And when I moved it, at the very bottom, I noticed this little guy and this little guy. So I think that they spawned successfully, even in the chaos that is that tank, with gouramis, with plecos, with cories, with nanochromis, with guppies. I mean, there are a million things that should have eaten the babies if that was the case. But in any case, so that's what's going on over in that side of the room. And I wanted to show you guys one more thing real quick about right here. So this is, if you've seen these guys on National Geographic, the cultural tradition involved with this group. As an anthropology major myself, like, I read so much about this culture and how incredible they are. Just really, really cool beliefs, very different, very unique, this whole people's group. And there's actually about 72 groups of people within the Yanomamo or Yanomami designation. But yeah, the other thing that happened was, because of these policies, the OECD, which is an economic trade bloc, has kicked out Brazil because of that. So there's that. I don't know. I don't know how much of this I can play, but oh, maybe it's not even gonna. Yeah, it's gonna block it. But in any case, you can hear the gunshots in that video. That's not just a warning shot of stay away from our tractor or stop protesting or anything like that. when they invade these reservations. That was an execution squad. That was a death squad, just like in Myanmar, just like in parts of Peru and parts of Colombia where there's other uncontacted people, just like in Angola, where, hey, you guys can see that I have no pants on. Quite literally, I am in a bathing suit because I'm so hot. I'm in like these boxer bathing suit things. And you probably saw my fish tattoos. I've got tattoos on my thighs of fish. Let's see here. But yeah, so it's just really sad. The same thing's going on in Papua New Guinea and in the Philippines. There's a few people doing that. Even in Myanmar, the same thing's going on. So the temperature here is about 86 degrees in this room right now. It's really hot. I'm really hot anyways. Without AC or anything. All right, next story. Well, I guess the other stories, I came across is that we actually, we actually covered a lot of the stories earlier this month, which were all about the chromosomes not mattering on fish, and the fact that the gender was related to the what was it, the RMST1 gene, I think is what it was. Which can be on the Y chromosome or it can be anywhere. Which means that there are betas now confirmed with XXXY chromosomes. So I shared all those links a few days ago, so I guess this is a shorter version. So it's good that we had questions. There's also a story about the diversity of cichlids in Lake Victoria and how they all came from a handful of species. And then evolved relatively fast. So I thought that was pretty cool. But the other cool one I had that I wanted to share was this. And I'll flip this around so y'all can see too. And then we'll do some more Q&A because it looked like, folks, y'all had lots of questions today. So, new map shows where the 80% of species we don't know about may be hiding. So we don't even know what we don't know, first of all. But they mapped out regions that are not well explored or that have been in conflict for a long time and where we're finding the most species. But this was mostly done in the last 20 years or so, where we found 32,000 terrestrial vertebrates. So here is a heat map, which I just thought was really cool, of where it's most likely we will discover new large terrestrial species. So, I mean, look at this. We haven't explored any of this area. Into Colombia, Panama, Central America, very unstable. And then you've also got parts of like the Pantanal or that area where you get more like open plain grass but still tropical, and then into the subtropical. Also, Iraq, the marshlands and things. There are a ton of shrimp and fish species we haven't cataloged there. Africa, again, I'm surprised they haven't marked the Congo as more of a hot spot, but they haven't. They're going more with Mozambique, I guess. Don't know why exactly. I'd like to read about that. But then they definitely say Madagascar is a big one. And then, of course, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. Papua New Guinea should be much, much, much darker. I'm just going to throw that out there. We don't know much about Papua New Guinea on the internal area where you can't even... It's hard to even get like a helicopter in there. One, it's hard to land, but two, you got to go over these really big mountains and then drop down into the valley. And lots of different winds and weather problems and fog and things like that. But in any case, I just thought that was interesting. This was just one group's map, and the map, who was it put together by? I should tell you that at least. And this came out just a few days ago, 2 days ago. The UN Biodiversity Conference. Oh, look at the new things they're discovering. All right, so I think we'll do some questions and answers. I'll probably just keep posting more stories throughout the month, the week. Wasn't a ton of stuff this month because of how I've been covering it all month. We also had the archaeological finds about mormyrids. So there's actually like 5 hours of fish news you can't use this month. But it came out as videos because we were talking about a lot of cutting edge stuff about the mormyrids, the Egyptian elephant nose fish being kept in captivity. Richard, I see what you're saying. It's a channel icon. So the little shrimp emoji picture thing by your name, I think, yeah, it means that everybody has a different one who's a paid channel member, and depending on how long they've been a member, it changes every month. But I guess I picked ugly pictures, and I apologize. I'll try to think of some better pictures. But for the longest time, I didn't have pictures, and it just gave you like a little thing, a little smiley face that was blue or green or orange or whatever. And I figured, well, it should be fish at least. So, but now we also have room for 15 emojis. So if we want to get all viral and obnoxious about it, we can. Yeah, so the longer you've been a subscriber and supporting the channel, the cooler the little non-fungible token, just because that's what the cool kids are talking about. The cooler picture you get. You get closer and closer to my favorite fish, I guess. It's really nothing. It's a digital gift saying thanks for giving me money. Basically, but it's I wish I could give you something more useful than that. Hopefully the knowledge and the information and entertainment is of you. Let's see. Someone said my ice sock. I thought it was a chili. Matt, welcome, lurker. That means so. The shrimp then means that you just got on board. You're a shrimp. You're a shrimp amongst my. Somebody asked about my panda loaches. They're one of the higher level backer icons. So they're hot today. So they're not on the bottom of their tank. They're actually up in the plants. I noticed they do that. And yet again, I just like to point out, everybody always says that they're gonna eat the baby shrimp. They're gonna eat the baby shrimp. The baby shrimp are fine. Panda loaches don't like baby shrimp. Even adult panda loaches get along totally fine with baby shrimp. You just need to give them biofilm. You see them sneaking around in there? They're so cute. Look at, they're friends. They want to be friends. What they want is planaria. Hence why I haven't killed the planaria in this tank, even though I hate looking at it and I want to smush every single one of the planaria. Long live the algorithm. Thank you, Michael. But yeah. And thanks for all the likes today, guys. You guys are killing it. And thanks for the support, mods. You guys rock. People should check out the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fish on YouTube or Facebook. I totally agree. Project Piaba, Project Ibama, which figures out which fish can be exported. Both of those are good things to check out too. But we're working on getting together a new charity, essentially. We're working on a new group of charities with aquatic arts that are nonprofits structured to support responsible harvesting of fish, and then also getting endangered and critically using the loopholes. So honestly, there's a lot of loopholes to the Endangered Species Act, and like countries like Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia are hesitant to list their species until it's too late frequently, and especially like China, they're the worst at that. And so Aquatic Arts wants to use that to our advantage and say, you know what? We know they're not listed right now, but our people on the ground are telling us, get them now. They're endangered. They're extinct in most of their range or whatever. And then try to get those in the U.S. while we can. Get them spawning in breeders' hands. And if they make it to a number where we can keep it sustainable, then great. If we can't, then we're not going to sell them, is their stance. But right now, for instance, a lot of the micro rasboras are truly in an extremely vulnerable position, and yet they continue to collect them and sell them. Project Piab is great for the Amazon, but there doesn't exist such a thing for many other regions, and it needs to. There's one similar thing for cichlids in the Rift Lakes, but like for instance in Africa on the main waterways around the Congo River watershed, there isn't much to help. So what Apisto keeps swimming by? These are the Apisto ncini. They look like ninjensis when you read it, but it's a Dutch word, and I think it's pronounced cini. But that's the male up front here, and he turns kind of a nice blue with a purple lilac color. And then the female, she's got her nice mask and bumblebee look, which is pretty common for them. And then we've got a Nanochromis paralus over there, back with the Aspidora spilotis and the Venezuelan Corridora. But this guy, he's just so friendly. He just wants to know what's going on. What's up, Ginger Graves? Good to see you. So let's move aside some of this crazy... I mean, look at how fast this stuff is growing. I have put probably 10 pounds of hornwort in the tubs outside, and it just grows right back. It's insane. And it does get this algae on it here, but actually I like that. I like floating this on top because I've got these rainbow fish and I've got these half beaks in here, and the rainbow fish and the half beaks stay up in this, and they lay their eggs in it, and they can have their babies in it. And then any sort of dwarf cichlid, catfish, or the mormyrids, they kind of steer clear of it. Let's get the mormyrid out. I know we talked about them, so let's see if we can get them to come out. We shall see. And again, you know, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for becoming members and things, as I see folks doing, and the support. Thanks for just keeping the spirit, the morale, the energy up in the chat. You guys rock. You know who you are, those of you who are always here on point and doing your best, but also any newcomers. I'm so glad you've joined us. How often do I feed my fish? Well, I feed my fish whenever they look like they need feeding. That sounds like a stupid remark, and I'm sorry, but I will, if I see a lot of these little snails around, I'm probably feeding too much. I don't need all those snails picking up the slack for me. I just need to cut back on feeding. However, if anybody's getting a sunken belly or whatever, then I'll cut back. But generally, I do frozen feedings 2 to 3 days a week, and I just did a video on what that consists of. And then sometimes, if I did one like as big as the one I did on film, I won't feed for 24 hours. I like to give them 24-hour breaks from food also. And then I will do a bit of dry food and try to switch it up, get some, if there's plecos or something, I'll make sure that I get them green beans or cucumber or yams or, you know, any sort of thing that they like that's kind of freshy food. And then just flake food kind of gets served all throughout the day. For the smaller fish with quick metabolisms that need feeding daily, like a lot of the nano rasboras or even some of these rainbow fish or any fry, I will use Aquarium Co-op's fry food in the bottle, in the squeeze bottle. And also I'll just use like Tetra Flake, stuff like that, Tetra Granules. whatever, and try just switching up those things. Fluval bug bites seem to work all right too. The Marmorid is just chilling back here. I see her swimming around. Come on. So much hornwort. Lordy, lordy, look at all the hornworty. Where is the Mormor? Where are you, Mormor? I decided also to name my Mormorids. Mortimer is definitely going to be one of them. And Mordecai is the other one, even though I think one's a female. But that's just how it's going to roll. And hopefully I can keep them alive. Also, oh, there you are. What are you doing under here? You're with the Phantom Blue Plecos. Zoom! They're a real shy fish. But look at these Phantom Blue Plecos. Looking beautiful with that blue tail fin and the blue dots. Even on a live stream, they look fancy. And even just kicking up the substrate, moving things around when you asked about feeding. Oftentimes when you got bottom feeders like this, that will be enough to like kick up some food that didn't get eaten. Sometimes I'll smash a few snails. I know that sounds brutal, but I'll just take a few snails, push them up onto a rock and crush them. Sometimes baby guppies or fry that there's just a ton of. I don't intentionally necessarily feed the other fish them, but they will eat them, and that's just part of life in a ecosystem, and so I just let that be. But that also, I mean, between that and then all the algae, all the little bugs, all the wood and the biofilms, that definitely does provide them a lot of food. And plants, if they feel like eating plants. Then in here, we also have an Apistoborella. I don't know where it is, but we've also got the rainbow slash samurai gouramis. They're doing better. You guys remember they had ick? Everybody had ick at some point in the last few months. It drove me nuts. It hopped from tank to tank. But these gals are doing great. This is a male here with the big white mouth pouch that fills up, and they then have babies that they can carry around in there. I might steal these little huts out of here. Over in here are my hybrid shrimp, in that they are just combos, but also we've got just oddball seed shrimp and Daphnia and things like that in here. So if I have any fry that I'm spawning that are a mystery, they can go in there and get their nutrients. Also, the fish that Kenny brought, well, let's see if we can sneak up on this balloon ram. These are the ones I saved from Petco that were 25 dead ones in a bucket. And look at that male. So colorful. It's really like not blue. It was blue when I got it, and then the female has got the blue body, but the male, I mean, talk about some road warrior, like Tina Turner Mohawk craziness going on there. 80s something or other, Barbarella. And then we've got the jewel cichlids, which are still in here because they're babies, but they need a new home ASAP because they are not nice fish. They're really mean fish, and Kenny and Danny brought them to me kindly, but they're really mean fish. Let's see here, Richard. Let's see here. Oh, Richard, you're an hour late. Sorry about that, buddy. Well, you're here now. Sometimes that happens to me. I'll start watching a video and realize that it wasn't actually on, or I mean, I wasn't live. It was like I was behind the live stream. Drives me nuts. Oh, look at the dragon goby is up there hunting. A micro dragon goby. Also, my crypts have started to try to go immerse. Crypt lutea and crypt lucens. My red tiger crypt spiralis, I want to get that into a new environment. Also, the oddball fish. Come on. Wow, really? I can't get the glare to knock, to stop. Hold on. Let's see if we can. This catfish right here. This is the Burmese glass cat. Not the Siamese or the Thai glass cat. But it is a Burmese golden glass cat or orange glass cat. I don't know why it's called orange or golden. I haven't seen any of those colors yet. Maybe it changes. Then we've got my birdsong gobies all chilling on the rocks. Wow, we're really zoomed in. Sorry guys, probably making everyone puke. Thread fins, Pseudomagilla illuminatus, all the red cherry shrimp line I've been working on a long time. And then the female gobies. Look at all the biofilm they have. I mean, it's been a success in that sense. Then we've got the lungfin white clouds, all my albino ram's horns, my green shrimp, more red shrimp, and yellow shrimp. My coals that I don't kill, but they're just chilling, doing their thing. And then over here is where right now, up here has been two of the tanks where I've been growing the Badis project secretly. Let's see if we can find. Last night the Badis, the male, was fully colored up and claiming territory finally in this corner. But oh, there he is right there. I think. There are two males, but let's see if this is the one, the hybrid, with the black on the face. Very hard to see live, but it is. And I posted a picture for members. But there's a black Zorro mask on the face, and then instead of just blue banding, there's actually black bands on the body, and there's this kind of blue highlight on the top of the caudal fin and the top of, or the bottom of the anal fin. Let's see if we can get them to come out more. Come on, no, don't go that way. These are some feisty fish though. They've got a temperament that is different than just your standard scarlet Badis. I mean, scarlet Badis can be kind of nippy for their size, but these ones, these hybrids are pretty savage. And then also here, look at all these least killifish, all babies right here. They're looking really nice. Again, live stream makes it look terrible. I need to get some new gear. It's just so expensive to get the next level up of gear. But I do want to do that so we can show some better live streams. Also, I'm dealing with humpback in the genetics of some of my guppies, so I'm a little stressed about that. These guys who were covered in ick, you can see the scars have all healed on them. They were losing all their slime coat and just doing terrible. Now they're back to their perky selves. The clamped fins are done. No more of that. So I'm really happy that they made a rebound. I was really worried since they don't have a Latin name, and I felt responsible for like ushering them in. Lots of room in this tank for more fish. We just got Danios and a billion Malawa shrimp in here. And then the pea puffers and the rainbow praycocks still just killing it, doing great together. And then down here, also lots of room for new fish. We've just got some other rare Danios from Myanmar. We got a lot of plecos in here, like probably about 8 of them. And then up here we've got the Pandarini cichlid, the Episto Pandarini, or Panduro, however you want to say it. I've seen both listed. And we've got the neon gold goby, and some baby black metallic Metallica fans. No, and then there should be the gold female cichlid in here too, but she's a little shyer. She hides in the back. But I think I'm gonna be ordering some of the Annie's Stiphodons, and they'll probably be going in here because the biofilm's building back up. Same with the red lizard catfish chilling here. They really want a tiger lily plant again, and I don't have one for them. Now all these guppies are acclimatized to go outside, so they should be going outside shortly. I mean, today is definitely hot enough that they could go outside and be fine. It's just some of the nights have been getting down to like 45 or 50 degrees, and that's still too low. Let's take a little walk. You guys have any more questions? Ask with the @ symbol. But, you know, I have to say thanks again for y'all being here and supporting me and watching and asking great questions. Means a lot, and I always have fun with everybody learning. You're teaching me, I'm learning. I'll learn something cool, then I'll get to share it with you guys. It really encourages me to try to digest that info better. Let me turn off the odds are seeing going on here. Is this 55? Do I do discus in a 55 indoors somewhere right after my wife kills me? By the way, this is what I feed, like in the morning and at night. I'll just do a puff in any tank. I don't really consider this feeding. I consider this just like supplemental. But you can see how sunny it is. You can see all the fish are up at the top here, so I just do that much. And it's basically just fish guts ground up and shrimp and whatever. And then in here we've got lava rock put at the bottom. We've got some bladderwort, or spleenwort, I should say, up at the top. You can see we've got some guppies in here chilling. And then over here we've got least killifish. We've got at least 40 of them in here, of the juveniles and babies. Still not seeing a whole lot of them, but I'll feed them a little bit just in case. And then over here we've got the white clouds, and we also have some pearl or opal Medaka rice fish. And hopefully I'm buying some red caps again, because I only have like one left right now from last season. And then also hopefully we're getting some new blue rice fish. That's the other thing I want to buy from Aquatic Arts. And I have to say thanks, guys. Every time you guys buy something, it helps me put money towards buying new stuff to show on the channel and to play with and to be greedy and keep for myself. The end. In here we've got the yohiki. Lots of algae, lots of mosquito larvae and stuff in here. There's actually bloodworms right here on the top, you can see. But just these fish are so fat and happy, these rice fish in here. And I'm in Seattle. If I'm in Seattle and pulling this off, you guys can pull this off anywhere in the contiguous United States, Hawaii. You might even be able to pull it off in like Alaska, honestly, in like Anchorage or southern Alaska, like St. Petersburg. Or St. Peters, I should say, not St. Petersburg. All right, guys. Well, let's see if there's any last questions. But oh, thank you so much, Laura. A $4.99 super chat with the dancing pear. I'll dance with it. And Donnie, thanks. $5 super chat. Woo woo. Take off your headband and spin it around your head like a helicopter. But yeah, I'm just hot. I just need to take a shower. Multi-tank addiction. Hey, Alex, lurking while I edit another video. Grinding away, man. So many other fellow fish tubers. Big ups to you guys. Keep the grind up. And I'll try to as well. Some days. Have you tried honey gouramis? Oh yeah, I love honey gouramis. As someone living in Vancouver, I cannot believe that a outdoor setup is possible. Oh yeah. Yep, know lots of people in Vancouver, BC and Vancouver, Washington that do the same. Usually they start around now though. They don't do it quite as early as I do. I'm trying to push it earlier each year, trying new species. But Danios, CPDs, white cloud minnows, some gold barbs or rosy barbs. A lot of them can handle much more than you would think cold-wise. Neocaridina shrimp, I've had them all winter out there. Medaka rice fish, all winter. Koi, carp, all winter. So yeah. Oh wow, we've got a $10 super chat from Carolyn MC. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And a poop poop from Multi Tank Addictions. Some poop. Randy Roman, thank you also for the well wishes. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get going out of here. But yeah. So thanks for hanging out. I don't know what the next video to come out will be, probably in 2 days or so. But like I said, it means a lot when you guys are going back through and watching old videos. There is a lot of good info. I worked just as hard on the research. It's just, you know, some of the filming makes you want to throw up even more than my crappy filming now. And, you know, the heart's there, though. That counts, right, guys? It's the heart. Heart will get you through everything. It's like I'm a Care Bear. All right, guys. Well, yeah, we will be back in a couple days, and then live streaming again by Saturday, if not. Doing a little pop-up earlier to push the aquascaping stuff, depending if I have an unboxing that arrives. So thank you so much, guys. It really means a lot, and I hope you're having an excellent week. My week's going well. I'm going to go sit in my truck and turn the AC on is what I'm going to go do. With the lupus and me being a fatty, I mean, yeah, there's just going to be, it's just too hot. The rant is too damn hot. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of your critters. Take care of your plants and the people around you. But most of all, remember to take care of yourself, because if you don't do that, you can't take care of anyone else or your critters. So thank you again for a fun little chat, even though we didn't hit the hard data this time. But we covered a couple stories. You guys can look at the links and get more depressed if you want to read those yourself. They're kind of bummer news articles. Probably coming up here soon in June, we'll have the next round, and that has a whole probably cichlid theme, honestly. There's a lot of cichlid research that just hit the airwaves, as it were. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. You have a great one. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.